you're writing a book actually about the science behind humans as herbivores, not
Correct.
omnivores. So
Absolutely.
let's broaden that lookout. Yes, dairy is bad for people who are lactose intolerant, but dairy and meat are not natural for humans, is what you contend.
That
State
is
your
absolutely
case.
right.
State your
Well,
case.
it's wow. Oh my God.
But in just a couple minutes.
Oh, you can go as long as you want. We can go over for him.
Well, what I can tell people is number one, there is a lecture on YouTube called "Are Humans Designed to Eat Meat?" All you have to do is go to YouTube, type in Dr. Milton Mills, and the lecture pops right up. That will give you all of the detail that I won't be able to give
Nice.
right now. But essentially, when you look at mammalian carnivores, herbivores or plant eaters, and then the omnivores like bears and raccoons, you see that human beings have the anatomy and physiology of what I call a committed herbivore, a species that has adopted a plant based diet and given up eating meat. And you find that all the way from our chewing apparatus, the way our jaws are structured, the way our throat and digestive system is arranged and organized. And the fact that in order for us to be healthy, we now realize we have to be consuming a very high fiber diet because we need to keep our microbiome healthy that helps produce neurotransmitters and a number of other physiologic compounds that help regulate blood sugar, keep our cholesterol low, and actually protect us against cancers. And this is why, again, over and over, you see that the more animal food that populations eat, meat, dairy, and so forth, the higher their rate and risk for a number of different cancers, including breast, prostate, ovarian, colon cancer, and a new one that's really rising in prevalence is pancreatic cancer. And the higher their rates of diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke across the board. And it's because animal protein at every intake has been shown to be toxic to the human physiology.
It's different than plant protein, right?
It's very different than plant protein. And again, oh, I wish I had the time to go into it, but I would encourage your listeners to go to YouTube, look up nutritionfacts.org, Dr. Michael Greger's site that does these wonderful science-based videos that will show people in great detail with the associated scientific papers right there for them to, double check his work, why animal protein is not healthy for humans. And he has a number of videos on animal protein and cancer and why it causes cancer, why it promotes diabetes, why it increases the risk for heart disease. And he goes into great detail. And as I said, he shows you the actual studies so that people can be sure that what they're being told is science-based. This is the truth. Everyone has probably heard of the blue zones around the world. These are the areas around the world where human beings live the longest, but not just live long. They are most functional. They have lowest rates of disease and lowest rates of dementia. And the one thing that is common to all of these areas is that the people eat a largely or entirely plant-based diet. There is only one blue zone within the United States, and that is in Loma Linda, California, where the majority of the population are vegetarians or vegans because they're Seventh-day Adventists. And again, the other blue zones around the world, the people are eating little or no meat. They're eating primarily a plant-based diet. And that's what accounts for not only the longevity, but the health and vitality that they enjoy throughout their
I
lives.
can't let this go really quick. You brought up Alzheimer's and dementia. We had Robbie and Dr. Science and Dr. Cyrus from Mastering Diabetes a while ago, and they were talking about a fifth type of diabetes that's showing up in people's brains, their brains becoming insulin resistant, and that's the leading to dementia and Alzheimer's. So now I'm hearing this a couple of times, and I think we can't just like slide by this. Can you just maybe in a minute express and explain what you meant by that in relation to dementia?
Sure.
And animal
Well,
foods.
I mean, the information showing insulin resistance specific to the brain is associated with the consumption of animal protein. I have to say, it's relatively new research, so I'm not completely up on it, but that is the basic association. But in general, when you look at the risk factors for Alzheimer's and other dementias, they are the same risk factors that promote atherosclerotic disease of the vascular system, and that also promote cancer. It's diets that are very high in animal protein, which not only promotes narrowing and sclerosis of the arteries supplying the brain, but they also, animal-based diets promote deposition of these amyloid plaques and other defects that we know are associated with dementia. And in addition, they don't have, as I said, the protective components that you get from plant foods. That's the other thing that people have to keep in mind, that it's not just the fact that the animal protein and animal fat are damaging your body, but you don't have the protection of the antioxidants and other plant-based compounds that have been shown to help the brain and the body remain healthy and functional throughout our lifetime. So it's like going into war without your armor. You're likely to be killed because you don't have the protection you should have. And that's what we see when people are not eating a plant-based diet.